moving. It is one of life's biggest stresses, moving.
I'm tired just thinking about it.
I know. Carlene just moved. We're going to
did.
talk to her, producer extraordinaire. She survived, though, so she's
did.
here with us this morning.
Move.
Yeah.
I survived.
And thanks for joining us here at 9:30 on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. If you downloaded the app to your Roku, we appreciate you so much. Tell your friends, because we are live and everybody around the world can see us and join us for some of these conversations that are not just particular to the Charlotte area, right? It's a worldwide kind of. We can all relate to moving and how difficult it is. This is why I've stayed put for as long as I have. Moving, like I said, considered one of life's biggest stresses. Unfortunately, scammers, they know how to exploit that kind of vulnerability, and summer is a big moving season. So with that approaching, we're all at risk of falling victim to scams, not only just for money, but your time and all your belongings and peace of mind. So today we are joined by Juliana O'Rork here in the Live Impact studio. She is from the Better Business Bureau. She's become a regular here now. Hey, Juliana, what's going on?
Hey, how are you this morning?
we're doing great. Yeah, and like I said, Carlene survived her move, so that's always good. But what kind of scams are you seeing then from the Better Business Bureau about moving?
Yeah, so May is National Moving Month, and so we really like to educate consumers on any type of scams we see when it comes to moving. And so there's typically about 4 different types of scams that you'll sort of see. Just for a little bit of reference, we've received in 2024, we received over 100,000 inquiries to movers on our website on BBB.org. We also had a little over 700 complaints reported to us, so we know this is a problem sometimes with moving companies and movers. And so what you'll oftentimes see is, kind of the worst, which is a no-show. You hire a company, you give them, maybe a full deposit, half a deposit, whatever they're requesting, they never show up. Okay, so you're sort of out of luck there. Then we see another one where they say it's going to cost X amount of dollars, you check your credit card, and they've charged you substantially more.
Oh, that's
for
true.
whatever reason. Yes. The next is going to be where they've quoted you a price, they come, they load up all your stuff, they have quoted you a price by weight, and then when they've actually loaded up your items, they let you know, hey, this is substantially weighing substantially more than what we quoted you, and those extra charges sometimes can be 2-3 times what they originally quoted you, and now you're in a position where, they're either not going to move your stuff if you don't pay them, they may not take it out of the truck, so a couple different issues can arise from that one. So be very careful with that. And then the last one is they actually come, they load up all your stuff, there's no issues with the payment, but then they never deliver your items. So your items are then stolen, or they kind of hold them hostage until maybe you pay more, or kind of do what they're asking you to do. And so, yes, there's a lot of different sort of scenarios going on here.
Yeah, so what can people do once they realize they are victim to one of these scams that you mentioned?
Yeah, so you definitely want to report it to bbb.org, and then you would definitely want to reach out to your credit card company. We always encourage people to pay with a credit card so they have some financial backing, but hopefully that doesn't happen to you. And some tips that you can kind of look for prior to hiring a moving company is, check them out on bbb.org, see if they're an accredited business, but also just look them up online. Do they have customer reviews? What are people saying about them? Can you find all of their contact information on their website? Is it easy to get in touch with them? Make sure you get everything in writing from a contract standpoint. Just kind of go behind the scenes to ensure that you have everything you need to feel comfortable when you hire this company.
Carlene, have you had any of these issues?
No, thankfully. Actually, I hired movers through U-Haul, and which
You did the right things.
Yeah.
All right. You found someone reputable.
They did a fantastic job.
Fantastic job.
We had
lucky
some heavy stuff.
Right.
And they did it with a smile, no complaints. It was great. It was fantastic.
Wow. So you were not stressed at all
I
with your move.
wasn't stressed. We only had to move the big stuff, and I have a lot of stuff. So it was a lot of me and Greg going back and forth with little boxes.
All the little things.
We had the movers do the big heavy things, the sleep number, the couches, that stuff.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it. But I
But
wanted
you
to
did
make sure I went to a a big known,
reputable
company
Yes.
like U-Haul.
Yeah.
You know?
You did the things.
Yeah, and
I
I
mean,
moved, it's been about 3 years since I
Yes.
moved, but I did the same thing. I hired a company. I actually hired a smaller company
Yes.
local to the area, but did a ton of research before, looked at the reviews on Google, talked with the owner, had multiple conversations, texting up until the point. So I felt pretty comfortable, had a contract in place, what was the price going to be.
Yep.
So I felt good about it, but those are all the things you want to make sure you're doing before you just hire somebody. And I know when you're already stressed out, you're packing, you're trying to get everything to line up. If you're selling a house and buying a new house and a lease and ending, you want to try to make
can
all of
go
that
on
stuff
and on.
align. And so I know you have a million things on your mind, but don't skimp on, researching and just educating yourself before you hire somebody.
Right. We do so much research for the things that matter to us, or the
Yeah.
fun things,
Right.
buying a product, going, abroad, or doing some
vacation trips.
traveling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Do the things that you need to do with a big life change, like moving.
Yes.
All right. So some of the red flags that people should look for.
Yeah, so if you can't get contact information on a website, if you see if you type in their name and do the research and there's bad customer reviews, people are complaining about them, saying that they're getting ripped off, those are things you really want to pay attention to. Also see how long have they been in business? Can you find their information as far as who owns the company, and things like that. And so I also always tell people, trust your gut. That's kind of one of the biggest things when it comes to stuff like this that sometimes we ignore, and don't ignore that.
For sure, for sure. It's one of those things, and the little things matter. The devil's in the details, as they say.
Yes.
And one of the problems that you run into, I know a lot of people have run into, it's the timing. Sell a house, buy a house, wait for some. So you need that temporary housing, or maybe a short-term rental, which Juliana gets us into another kind of scam.
Yes. So we know, yes, as you mentioned, sometimes things don't align perfectly, and maybe you need a month, 2 months, 3 months, however long it might be. You've sold your house, you're buying a new one, or you're leaving an apartment, the lease is up, but a new place isn't quite ready. And so we want people to be aware of a scam that we've seen and that has been reported to us. It's pulling fake credit reports for potential tenants, but these properties don't actually exist.
Wow.
So as we know, scammers just essentially want to steal your information. They either want your personal information so they can commit identity theft, or they're looking for your financial information so that they can steal your funds. And so these fake credit checks, they'll make you complete this credit check prior to even seeing the place. Well, once you've given them that sensitive information, then they're gone. They bail. There's no landlord to be found. The properties might be real. They might not be real. They definitely don't own, they're not owned by the scammer. And so that's another thing we want people to be very cautious of when you find a listing or a place that you are looking and interested in renting for whatever period of time. Also be very careful. Don't do any type of peer-to-peer payment. Make sure, again, that you're seeing these things in person. If there's somebody really wanting to rent their property, they're going to be willing to talk to you, whether it's them, whether they've hired a property management company. But again, they should have a website. They should have contact information. And you should be able to find all of that with ease, and they shouldn't have any problem giving it to you as well.
I mean, in the digital age, when we all have access to phones and computers, and it could be free, go to the library, really, you can find this
A lot.
information.
Yes.
Juliana, anything else we need to know about moving?
Honestly, if it sounds too good to be true, it's probably because it is. So if the price is too good on an apartment in the meantime, it probably is. If a moving company is quoting you a substantially lower price than others, it's probably too good to be true. So just be very careful and do your research.
All right, research, research, research. All right, that is the key to everything. Juliana O'Rork from the Better Business Bureau, steering us clear from scams. And if you are one of the folks like Carlene here that is getting ready to move, maybe the rest of the spring, summer, what have you, this year, good luck to you. And hopefully all for good reasons that you're doing that move and that it's worth it. All right, thank you, Juliana.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time always.
Yeah.